Hi there, my name's Kalen Scott Carter, and I'm on the CCCC program of the CNA 1. Now, this is part of my class project, so bear with me. So, to start, I am not a physician. I am not an expert. If you have any serious health concerns or any questions regarding your own personal health, please don't ask me. I don't know. Once again, not an expert. Go to your physician, go to your doctor, whomever. So, that being out of the way, let's get started. So, my project is on the reproductive system. It is freaking fascinating. Now, whenever I say that, I truly do mean that I went into this thinking it was going to be really easy. Easy, eh? Oh my God, I was so wrong. So wrong. You see, the reproductive system doesn't seem complex, but in actuality, it kind of is. You see, I thought originally it was you had the penis and you got the vagina, and then whenever you mesh the two together, you get a hellspawn that'll suck the life out of you for the next 15, 25 years, and then they'll come back to you saying, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. To any parents watching, I, a childless male, do apologize. Thankfully, I'm not delving into the actual social aspects of it all, but I am instead focusing on the hard facts here. Now, the hard facts are that the male anatomy, reproductive anatomy, has 11 parts to it. Now, 11 parts doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually gets really into it. The first part we will cover is the scrotum. Now, the scrotum is made up of two side-by-side pouches, which houses, well, the 10-year-old, and you guessed it, the testes. The two testes, also known as the male gonads, are responsible for the production of sperm and testosterone. Each testis is found on the inside of its own pouch, side by side each other, of course. Each testis is found inside its own pouch on one side of the scrotum and is connected to the abdomen by a spermatic cord and cremaster muscle. I can hear it now. You're asking, what in the world is a spermatic muscle and a cremaster cord? Let's start with the cremaster muscle. Now, according to Wikipedia, the cremaster muscle's function is to raise and lower the testes in order to regulate scrotal temperature for optimal sperm and Oh my goodness, this is actually a medical term, and I haven't brushed up on my pronunciations. So, give me a second here. Spermatogenesis. And survival of resultant spermatozoa. Now, it does this by increasing or decreasing the exposed surface area of the surrounding tissue, allowing faster or slower dissipation of body heat. It does this by increasing or decreasing the exposed surface area of the surrounded tissue, allowing faster or slower dissipation of body heat. Oh, so that was a mouthful. Pause on that. But the cremaster muscle works in tandem with the spermatic cords to provide proper function to the gonads in general. But the cremaster muscle works in tandem with the spermatic cords in general to provide proper function to the gonads. But the spermatic cords connects to the testes to the abdominal cavity and contain the ductus deferens. I think that's the way you spell it or say it. Along with nerves, veins, arteries, and lymphatic vessels that support the function of the testes. Now, the ductus deferens, I think is how you say it, also known as the vas deferens, is a muscular tube that carries sperm superiorly, that's upwardly, epididymis, into the abdominal cavity to the ejaculatory duct. And that is a bonus fact, an additional thing you may or may not have known. But I glanced at another thing as well while talking about the ductus deferens, the epididymis. Now, according to the WebMD, The epididymis is a sperm storage area that wraps around the superior and posterior edges of the testes almost like a cushion. Sperm produced in the testes moves into the epididymis to mature before being passed on through the male reproductive organs. The length of the epididymis delays the release of the sperm and allows the sperm time to mature. And as a side note, WebMD also told me that I have some kind of rare cancer that I probably need to go get checked out for. Yeah. Now that we've covered what seems like a lot, we still have a lot more. But let's jump into parts that have more to do with sperm and the actual act of reproduction, such as the seminal. They are a pair of lumpy exocrine glands that store and produce some of the liquid portion of semen. They are located posterior to the urinary bladder and anterior to the rectum, and the liquid produced by the seminal vesicles contains proteins and mucus and has an alkaline pH to help sperm survive in the acidic environment of the vagina. But this also links to another part of the male anatomy, the ejaculatory duct and the urethra. The ejaculatory duct contains the ducts from the seminal vesicles as well. During ejaculation, the ejaculatory duct opens and expels sperm and the secretions from the seminal vesicles into the urethra. Whereas with the urethra, semen passes from the ejaculatory duct to the exterior of the body via the urethra, which is on average an 8 to 10 inches long muscular tube. For some people. The urethra passes through the prostate and ends at the external urethral orifice located at the tip of the penis. And what guy can forget the prostate? I mean, that's the thing that they stick a finger up our butts for. Oh my God, I'm not looking forward to that. The prostate is a walnut-sized exocrine gland that borders the inferior end of the urinary bladder and surrounds the urethra. The prostate produces a large portion of the fluid that makes up semen. This fluid is milky white in color and contains enzymes, proteins, and other chemicals to support and protect sperm during ejaculation. The prostate also contains smooth muscle tissue that can constrict to prevent the flow of urine or semen. This is why it's kind of hard to urinate for men after arousal. Although it all comes to a head at the penis itself. No? Okay. The penis is the male external sexual organ located superior to the scrotum. The penis is roughly cylindrical in shape and contains the urethra and the external opening of the urethra. Large pockets of erectile tissue in the penis allow it to fill with blood and become erect. The erection of the penis causes it to increase in size and become turgid. The function of the penis is to deliver semen into the vagina during sexual intercourse. Did we not know that? But here I am blathering on about the male reproductive organs, and we still have yet to cover the female reproductive, and I still need to get onto one disease, so let's keep going. We'll go over the female system superior to inferior order, starting with the ovaries. And did you know, as a small bonus thing, that ova is the Greek Latin word for eggs? I was actually pretty sure about this myself here at the time of making this video, but unless Ms. Nisley is giving me a funny look, I'm going to resume my absolute confidence in myself and not cross-reference myself here. Heavy metal. So the ovaries are a pair of small glands about the size and shape of almonds, located on the left and right sides of the pelvic body cavity, lateral to the top portion of the uterus. Ovaries produce female sex hormones such as estrogen and progesterone. Ovaries produce female sex hormones such as estrogen and honestly, the definition that I looked up was pretty hazy. I mean, the pronunciation was pretty hazy. So, progesterone, I think. We're just going to go with that. Progesterone, as well as eggs or ova as I resume my confidence. Each month during ovulation, a mature egg is released and it travels from the ovary to the fallopian tube, where it may be fertilized before reaching the uterus. And one more bonus fact. The ova are actually one of the largest, if not the largest, cell in the human body. They are about as big as a pea, and if not a little smaller. Now, with the mentioning of the fallopian tubes, they are a pair of muscular tubes that extend from the left and right top corners of the uterus to the edge of the ovaries. The fallopian tubes end in a funnel-shaped structure called the infundibilium. The infundibilium is covered with small finger-like projections called vertebrae. Is that right? Good Lord, I just can't get a break. Fimbriae. The fimbriae swipe over the outside of the ovaries to pick up released eggs and carry them into the infundibilium. There we go. For transport to the uterus. The inside of each fallopian tube is covered in cilia that work with the smooth muscle of the tube to carry the eggs to the uterus. The trend seems to be that if I cover it or mention it, I go over it. Connected to the two fallopian tubes on its upper end to the vagina and on its lower end, the uterus, is also known as the womb, and as it surrounds and supports the developing fetus during pregnancy. The inner lining of the uterus, known as the endometrium, provides support to the embryo during early development. The visceral muscles of the uterus contract during childbirth to push the fetus through the birth canal. And it feels like after I gone over all this, I could have just gotten away with saying it's basically just the womb. The last two parts are the cervix and the vagina. The cervix of the uterus acts as the gatekeeper of the uterus by controlling when substances can pass into and out of the uterus. Around the time of ovulation, the consistency of the cervical mucus becomes much thinner, allowing the passage of sperm into the uterus for fertilization. During pregnancy, the cervix and its mucus protect the developing fetus by sealing the uterus from possible contamination by external pathogens. The vagina functions as the receptacle for the penis during sexual intercourse and carries sperm to the uterus and fallopian tubes. It also serves as the birth canal by stretching to allow delivery of the fetus during childbirth. Now, I don't know about y'all, but the 10-year-old in me has stopped giggling. And this is well and good because we're about to enter a brief world of hurt. Now, we can get into a lot of malarkey about the scariest of the scary insofar as STDs go, like AIDS, HIV, hepatitis A through C, and the others of which have no cure. But for my project, I find that the treatable diseases are just as scary, if not more so, as it takes a lot of trust between partners and a certain suspension of disbelief of the mentality of, well, that's never going to happen to me. So for my project in the CNA 1 class, I chose the disease of syphilis. I've probably talked about it in class a bit, and it's truly my biggest fear outside of the major ones. You see, syphilis is a sexually transmitted infection that can cause serious health problems if it is not treated. Syphilis is divided into 4 stages, with progressively worse symptoms. I'll get into those here in a minute though. You can get syphilis by direct contact with a syphilis sore during vaginal, anal, or oral sex. Sores can be found on or around the penis, vagina, or anus, or inside the rectum, on the lips, or in the mouth. Syphilis can also be spread from parent to child. A person with the first stage of syphilis generally has a sore or sores at the original site of infection. These sores usually occur on or around the genitals, around the anus, or in the rectum, or around the mouth. Ouch. These sores usually occur on or around the genitals, around the anus, or in the rectum, or in or around the mouth. These sores are usually, but not always, firm, round, and painless. Sometimes you will not have this symptom, which leads to the second stage, Symptoms of the secondary stage of syphilis include skin rash, swollen lymph nodes, and fever. Once again, sometimes no symptoms occur, or can be very mild. During the third stage, there are no signs or symptoms. It's too late. The final stage, the fourth, is associated with severe medical problems and is usually diagnosed by a doctor with the help of multiple tests. It can affect the heart, brain, and other organs of the body, leading to nerve damage or even organ failure. The good news is that most of this takes time to develop, even so long as 10 years. But if it spreads, it can lead to many long-term health risks. And it can spread to various places of your body, like in your eye. And that's it. That's my project. I hope y'all enjoyed. I'm gonna go take a very long shower after all of this research, and I'm sure the viewing of this project will lead me into regression of feeling unclean. So if you see me scrubbing myself in class, it's normal. Once again, this is Kalen Scott Carter in the CNA 1 class of CCCC of Siler City. Please give me a good grade. Yo.